The stars trembled as the massive vessel pushed through the fabric of space, its crystalline hull refracting light in patterns no human eye had ever witnessed. Inside, first observer Talonvex adjusted the neural interface, connecting his consciousness to the ship's sensors. His species, the Eridani, had navigated the cosmos for millennia, cataloging and studying evolutionary patterns across thousands of worlds. Yet nothing had prepared them for what they discovered in the unremarkable spiral arm of a mediocre galaxy. Convergence imminent. Sol system approaching, announced Navigator Pelthera, her voice a harmonic vibration that rippled through the command chamber. Standard observation protocols, Talonvex responded. No contact with indigenous species. The third planet from the star was of particular interest, a water-rich world with an atmosphere dense with oxygen and nitrogen. What made this planet remarkable wasn't its composition, but its inhabitants. Humans. The species had caught the attention of the Galactic Registry of Evolutionary Paradigms after inexplicably rapid technological advancement. Biological analysis complete, reported Krum, the expedition's xenobiologist. Results impossible. Talonvex glided across the chamber, his bioluminescent skin pulsing with curiosity. Explain. These humans have an unprecedented mutation rate. Their genome contains fragments that don't correspond to their evolutionary path. They are improvised. The word hung in the air like cosmic dust. In all their explorations, the Eridani had observed consistent patterns. Species evolved slowly, predictably, with changes accumulating over millions of years. But humans had somehow compressed evolutionary leaps in a mere thousands. Could it be artificial enhancement? Asked Pelthera. No, Corwin replied. It's entirely natural, but completely unprecedented. Their adaptability quotient exceeds even the theoretical maximum established by the consortium. The ship's sensors captured images of human cities, technology, art, warfare, a species of contradictions. While other sapient races unified around central evolutionary principles, humans diverged wildly. Some built monuments, while others destroyed them. Some healed, while others killed. Some explored, while others remained stationary. They're chaotic, Talonvex observed. Unpredictable. And that's precisely what makes them valuable, came a new voice. The expedition's overseer, Grand Assessor Vorel, emerged from his meditation chamber. His ancient form moved with the deliberation of one who had witnessed the rise and fall of civilizations across multiple galaxies. Valuable, echoed Talonvex. The consortium has long theorized that evolutionary stagnation is the greatest threat to cosmic biodiversity. Every advanced species eventually reaches optimization, then plateau, then extinction. But these humans, they never stabilize. They constantly mutate, adapt, change course. Corum manipulated the biological display. Their genetic structure allows for rapid neural adaptation. They can literally rewire their brains within a single generation. Vorel's compound eyes dilated with interest. They're the first species we've encountered that might survive the coming void. The coming void, the theoretical endpoint of cosmic evolution, when all matter would reach its final, stable state. The Eridani and other ancient species had observed this pattern across countless worlds. Evolution inevitably led to perfect adaptation, which ironically resulted in species-wide inability to adapt to sudden changes. We must study them further, Vorel declared. But we cannot risk contamination. Their evolutionary trajectory must remain pristine. Outside the vessel, Earth rotated serenely, unaware of the visitors analyzing its dominant species. In homes and laboratories on mountains and in ocean depths, humans continued their chaotic existence, arguing, creating, destroying, rebuilding, completely unaware that their seemingly random mutations had caught the attention of the cosmos's oldest observers. Little did they know that their biological unpredictability would soon become their greatest asset in a universe where predictability meant extinction. 5 years later, the Eridani observation post orbiting Jupiter's moon Europa had compiled enough data to alarm even the most stoic members of the consortium. Talonvex, now promoted to chief observer, presented the findings to a gathering of representatives from 17 advanced civilizations. The humans have achieved in 2 centuries what took most species millennia, he explained, projecting a holographic timeline. From combustion engines to quantum computing in less than 300 planetary rotations. Mordrax, the silicon-based representative of the Cygni Collective, pulsed with skepticism. Technological advancement isn't inherently valuable. The Praxians developed faster than light travel and still succumb to resource depletion. It's not just their technology, interjected Krum, who had established himself as the foremost expert on human biology. It's their genetic plasticity. We've documented 47 significant adaptations within observed populations in just the past century. Environmental pressures that would drive most species to extinction merely redirect human evolution. The gathered representatives murmured, a cacophony of clicks, vibrations, electromagnetic pulses, and chemical signals that the translation matrix struggled to process simultaneously. Ulthar, the ancient fungoid consciousness representing the Sagittarius Consortium, extruded a communication appendage. The data suggests an anomaly. All life follows predictable patterns, or so we believed. These humans appear to be evolving not toward stability, but toward increasing adaptability. Precisely, confirmed Talonvex. And it's not just physical adaptation. Their cultural evolution demonstrates the same pattern. When most species develop a successful strategy, they maintain it indefinitely. Humans constantly discard working systems to experiment with new ones. The observation chamber darkened as a new projection appeared. Human history condensed into visual patterns. Wars followed by renaissances. Collapse followed by rebuilding. Dogma followed by revolution. They fail constantly, noted Pelthra, who had joined the research team. But their failures spark new directions. It's as if failure itself is an evolutionary strategy. Mordrax's crystalline form flickered with alarm. You're suggesting we value them for their inefficiency, their chaos, for their diversity, corrected Vorel, entering the chamber. The ancient Eridani commanded immediate respect. He had observed the rise and fall of civilizations that most members of the consortium knew only from historical records. The coming void approaches faster than predicted. The entropy calculations are undeniable. He gestured to a starfield display where several points of light were noticeably absent, stars that had mysteriously winked out of existence over the past millennium. The heat death of the universe was once theoretical. Now we observe its early manifestations. The fundamental laws are shifting, and species optimized for current conditions will perish. But humans, their very instability might be salvation. What do you propose? Asked Ulthar. Continued observation, but with purpose. If humans truly represent a new evolutionary paradigm, one based on perpetual adaptation rather than optimization, they may provide the template for cosmic survival. As the representatives debated, Earth continued its orbit around its yellow star. In laboratories and universities, humans pursued knowledge without knowing their methods were being studied. In hospitals, human bodies fought diseases with immune systems that evolved strategies overnight. In cities and villages, human cultures clashed and merged, creating endlessly new combinations. In an orbit around Europa, the most ancient species in the galaxy wondered if their salvation might come from the most unpredictable species they had ever encountered. Commander Loxtel stood on the observation deck of the Terran Alliance flagship Prometheus, gazing at the swirling storm systems of Jupiter. 20 years had passed since humanity discovered they weren't alone in the universe, though not in the way anyone had expected. The transmission had arrived on all frequencies simultaneously, a mathematical sequence impossible to ignore, followed by coordinates leading to a facility hidden beneath Europa's ice. There, humans had found not aliens, but evidence of their observation, detailed records of human history, biology, and evolution spanning centuries. Commander, Lieutenant Marrakesh approached, her dark skin contrasting with the stark white of her uniform. The Eridani delegation has arrived. Loxtel nodded. The Eridani had never intended to reveal themselves, but circumstances had forced their hand. The coming void, a phenomenon they had monitored for millennia, had accelerated beyond all projections. Three-star systems in the local group had already succumbed, their fundamental particles unraveling into something physics couldn't explain. "Prepare the conference room," Loxtel ordered, "and make sure Dr. Hellquist is present." Avery Hellquist was the foremost human expert on the genetic modifications the Eridani had proposed, controversial alterations that would enhance humanity's already remarkable adaptability. The debate had raged globally. Accept alien assistance or face the challenge unaltered. The meeting chamber hummed with tension as the Eridani representatives entered. Unlike the tentacled monstrosities of human fiction, they moved with jellyfish-like grace, their translucent bodies housing complex neural networks that glowed with bioluminescent activity. "We appreciate your willingness to meet," began Talonvex, now visibly aged even by Eridani standards. "Time grows short. You've been watching us for generations without consent," Loxtel replied. "Many of my people still consider that an invasion of privacy. An unfortunate necessity." Voral's ancient form hovered forward. "Had we interfered earlier, we might have altered the very evolutionary path that makes your species unique." Dr. Hellquist stepped forward, her silver hair pulled back tightly. "Your proposed genetic modifications would access dormant regions of our genome. You claim these changes would enhance our adaptability without fundamentally changing what makes us human." "Correct," confirmed Corum. "Unlike other species we've encountered, humans possess genetic redundancies, what your scientists once dismissed as junk DNA. These sequences contain evolutionary potential unlike anything we've observed." Holographic displays activated, showing simulations of the proposed modifications and their effects across generations. "The coming void will reach your solar system within 300 years, Talonvex explained. "When it does, the fundamental constants that govern reality will shift. Species optimized for current physics will be unable to adapt quickly enough. But humans," continued Voril, "with your chaotic evolution and genetic plasticity, have the potential to survive, to evolve in real time as constants shift." Marrakesh leaned forward. "Why not modify yourselves? Why choose us?" The Eridani exchanged what appeared to be their equivalent of a sad glance. "We cannot," admitted Voril. "Our species reached evolutionary perfection millennia ago. We optimized our biology for current universal constants. We have no redundancies, no chaos in our genome. We are perfectly adapted to a universe that is about to change." The weight of their words settled over the human delegation. The Eridani, among the oldest species in the galaxy, were approaching extinction because they had perfected themselves too well. "Humanity's imperfection is your salvation," Loxtel realized. "Your cosmic mutation marvel. Not just our salvation," Voril corrected. "Potentially the salvation of all conscious life. If you accept our proposal, humans would become the repository of cosmic biodiversity, the species capable of adapting to conditions we cannot even imagine." Outside the viewport, Jupiter's great red spot swirled in silent turbulence, a reminder that chaos and stability could coexist. Humanity stood at a crossroads, remain unaltered or accept their role as the inheritors of a changing cosmos. The laboratory complex sprawled across what had once been the Sahara Desert, now a verdant landscape engineered to support the massive research facility. A century had passed since humanity accepted the Eridani proposal, though not without modifications of their own. True to form, humans had taken the alien suggestions and improvised. Dr. Thexel Varadhan, great-granddaughter of one of the original negotiators, monitored the results of the latest activation sequence. Unlike her predecessors, Thexel carried within her the first fully expressed cosmic adaptation genome, the culmination of 100 years of careful genetic engineering. "Phase 3 activation complete," announced her colleague, Dr. Esmery Okafor. Neuroplasticity at 300% of baseline human capacity. Thexel nodded, feeling the changes within her own body. The modifications didn't alter human appearance, but transformed their internal biology. Enhanced neural pathways. Improved cellular regeneration. Most importantly, accelerated adaptation to environmental change. The Proxima Centauri test subjects are reporting successful adaptation to the radiation levels, Thexel noted, reviewing data from the first human colony to inhabit a non-Earth environment without protective habitats. Their children are showing natural resistance, developing within a single generation. The observation deck darkened as Vorel entered, one of the last surviving members of the original Eridani contact team. The ancient being moved more slowly now, his species' immutable biology showing signs of strain against the first subtle shifts in universal constants. Remarkable progress, the Eridani observed. Your species continues to surprise us. We've improved on your original design, Thexel explained. Instead of activating all dormant sequences simultaneously, we're introducing them gradually, allowing cultural adaptation to match biological changes. Esmery brought up a galactic display showing the progression of the coming void, a spreading phenomenon where the basic forces holding matter together began to unravel. 3 more star systems had succumbed in the past decade, their matter converting to energy states incompatible with conventional physics. The latest models suggest we have less time than originally calculated, Esmery said grimly. 2 centuries at most before the effect reaches Sol. Vorel's bioluminescence dimmed. My species will not survive to see it. Our biological optimization leaves us no room to adapt. Thexel placed a hand near the Eridani in a gesture of respect. Your knowledge will. We've incorporated Eridani cosmological understanding into our archives. The archives, vast repositories of knowledge constructed in the depths of various planetary bodies across newly colonized systems, represented humanity's insurance policy. Each contained the genetic blueprint of thousands of species, along with cultural and technological knowledge spanning the galaxy. The evacuation plans? Vorel inquired. Proceeding ahead of schedule, confirmed Esmery. The new jump drives based on Cygni principles will allow us to establish colonies beyond the predicted void boundary. Outside the laboratory windows, construction teams were assembling the framework for the largest vessel ever constructed. The Hereditas, designed to carry 10,000 genetically modified humans and the embryos of 1 million more to the galactic rim, beyond the void's projected reach. There is something we haven't told the general population, Thexel said quietly. The latest simulations suggest that some humans, those with the full complement of activated sequences, might actually survive within the void itself. Vorel's compound eyes dilated with surprise. That should be impossible. The fundamental constants would no longer be constant, Esmery finished. But our modified physiology appears capable of adapting to fluctuating physical laws in real time. Theoretical for now, but the models are promising. For the first time in recorded history, the ancient Eridani displayed an emotion recognizable as hope. Then humanity might accomplish what no species has before, not merely escaping extinction, but transcending the very boundaries of physical law. As they spoke, in hospitals and homes across Earth and its colonies, children were being born with activated potential that their ancestors could scarcely have imagined. Humans designed not for the universe as it was, but for the universe as it would become. The observation platform aboard the generational ship Hereditas offered an unparalleled view of the spectacle unfolding before them. Captain Orlon Nazareth, 5th-generation commander since the vessel's departure from Earth, watched as the star system designated HD 9782 disappeared not with an explosion, but with a shimmering distortion that seemed to fold space itself. Another one gone, remarked his executive officer, Commander Zyva Kalmar. Unlike the captain, Zyva was among the new generation, born with fully activated adaptation sequences. She perceived reality differently, her enhanced senses detecting subtleties in the fabric of space-time that registered only as instruments readings to Orlan. The void advances faster than predicted, Orlan noted grimly. At current progression, it will reach the colonial frontier within 20 years. 200 years had passed since the Hereditas and its sister ships departed the solar system. Humanity had spread to 37 star systems, establishing colonies designed to weather the coming storm. Each settlement focused on different adaptation pathways, some enhancing neural connectivity, others emphasizing physical resilience, still others developing perception beyond traditional senses. Admiral Talonvex requests your presence in the memorial chamber, the ship's AI announced. The last surviving member of the original Eridani contact expedition, Talonvex had remained with humanity as his own species gradually succumbed to the shifting constants. Now ancient beyond his species' normal lifespan, he served as living memory of what had come before. The memorial chamber housed preserved specimens and holographic records of extinct species, a cosmic arc of biological information. At its center stood a crystalline structure containing the complete genetic record of the Eridani. The Pentaxi outpost has gone silent, Talonvex announced as they entered. His once graceful form now moved with mechanical assistance. His biology struggling against physics it was never designed to withstand. That leaves humanity as the last known spacefaring civilization within this galactic sector. Orlan absorbed this solemnly. The refugee ships from Proxima safely arrived at Sanctuary Base, confirmed Zyva. The adaptation protocols are working. Third-generation colonists are showing spontaneous mutations that allow them to process the altered radiation spectra. Talonvex gestured toward a holographic display showing the distribution of human settlements. You have exceeded all projections. When my kind first discovered humanity, we hoped you might preserve biological knowledge through the void transition. We never imagined you would thrive within it. The display shifted to show medical data from the frontier colonies closest to the void's edge. Children were being born with adaptations specifically suited to the changing physics. Neural pathways that could process contradictory information, cellular structures that remained stable despite fluctuating physical constants. The Transcendence Project reports success with the first intentional crossing, Zyva reported. Dr. Hellquist's great-great-grandson led the expedition. They survived 17 minutes within the void boundary before returning. Talonvex's compound eyes focused on the data, and their condition upon return changed, admitted Orlan, but still recognizably human. They report experiences beyond conventional language. They're developing new mathematical frameworks to communicate what they observed. A researcher entered carrying a data crystal. "Excuse me, Captain. The Void Analysis team has completed their calculations. The process appears to be not destruction, but transformation. Matter isn't ceasing to exist. It's transitioning to new organizational principles." Zyva studied the equations. With her enhanced cognition, she grasped implications that would have required teams of unmodified humans to process. "It's not the end," she whispered. "It's evolution on a cosmic scale." Talonvex's bioluminescence flickered with what might have been wonder. "All this time, we thought we were fighting extinction. But the universe itself is adapting, just as species do. And humanity," Orlan realized, with our chaotic, unpredictable evolution, is uniquely positioned to survive the transition, completed Talonvex. Not merely survive, to guide it. Outside the viewports of the Hereditas, space itself seemed to ripple as the ship maintained its position at the edge of conventional physics. Beyond lay not emptiness but possibility, a cosmos rewriting its own rules, with humanity poised to become not just inhabitants but architects of what would come after. 2,000 years after humanity first learned of the coming void, Archivat Fyra, Nazareth Hellquist, stood before the assembly of transitions. No longer strictly human by ancient standards, she represented the culmination of directed evolution, a being who could exist simultaneously in conventional space and within the transformed regions now occupying 70% of the known galaxy. The assembly chamber itself straddled the boundary, half existing in what humans once called normal space, and half in the shimmering, probability-laden environment of the void. Representatives from the 17 surviving evolutionary branches of humanity gathered, some appearing as energy patterns, others as complex biological structures unlike anything their ancestors would have recognized. The final phase of transition begins, Phyra announced. Earth's solar system will cross the boundary within 1 standard year. The news generated a ripple of communication that transcended conventional language, a network of shared consciousness that maintained individuality while permitting perfect information transfer. The preservation arcs are positioned, confirmed Thelios, a representative from the quantum adaptation branch. His form shifted between states of matter as he spoke, a being capable of rewriting his own molecular structure in real time. We will save what can be saved of pre-transition ecology. In the Eridani legacy, asked Morvalia, whose consciousness existed primarily as patterns of information rather than matter. Secure, Phyra assured them. Their genetic blueprint has been preserved, along with the records of 12,000 other extinct species. When conditions stabilize in the new physics, reintroduction will be possible. The assembly viewed a simulation of Earth's approaching encounter with the void boundary. Unlike earlier transitions, which had seemed catastrophic to conventional observation, humanity now understood the process as transformation rather than destruction. With proper preparation, much could be preserved through the shift. It's fitting, observed Elder Talon, a hybrid consciousness descended from both human and Eridani lineages, that Earth should be among the last systems to transition, the birthplace of the species that would witness the universe's rebirth. The original Talonvex had not lived to see this moment, but his consciousness had been partially preserved, a gift of human technology to the last of his kind. Now, elements of his memory and perspective continued within the hybrid descendants who maintained the wisdom of both species. We have confirmed viable ecosystems within 12 sectors of fully transitioned space, reported Phyra. The fundamental principles are different, but adaptation continues. Life persists in forms we could not have imagined. Outside the chamber viewports, the boundary between conventional space and the void created spectacular visual effects. Light behaving according to multiple sets of physical laws simultaneously. Ships designed by human descendants traversed both domains, crewed by beings who could perceive multiple realities concurrently. Our ancestors feared this change, Thelios noted. They saw only ending, not beginning. Most species would not have survived it, Elder Talon acknowledged. The Eridani, the Cygni, the Pentaxi, all achieved perfect adaptation to a stable universe. When stability failed, they could not adjust. But humans never optimized. Morvalia completed the thought. Your species maintained chaos, redundancy, inefficiency. Potential, corrected Phyra. We maintained potential. A new display activated, showing images from within fully transitioned regions. Ecosystems rebuilt on principles that defied conventional physics. Stars that operated on different fusion principles. Planets where matter could exist in multiple states simultaneously. And life, evolving, adapting, thriving in conditions that would have been lethal to any species from the old universe. The seeding program reports 97% success rate, Phyra continued. The genetic archives are being re-established throughout stabilized regions. Biodiversity is returning, though adapted to new conditions. Humanity had fulfilled its promise to the ancient species, preserving not just human life, but the biological heritage of the galaxy through cosmic transformation. What had seemed like extinction was revealed as metamorphosis on the grandest scale. As the assembly concluded, Phyra stood alone at the boundary viewport, watching the approaching edge of transformation that would soon envelop her species' birthplace. She placed her hand against the transparent material, her form shifting slightly as she adjusted her own physical structure to better perceive both realities simultaneously. In that moment, she could sense the echoes of all who had come before, From the first humans who looked up at the stars in wonder, to those who first encountered the Eridani, to the generations who had guided humanity through its greatest transition. A species whose greatest strength had proven to be not conquest or technology or even intelligence, but the chaotic, beautiful unpredictability of their evolution. The universe had not chosen humans. It had created them, purposefully or accidentally, as beings who could witness and shepherd the cosmos through its own evolution. The cosmos preferred mutation marvel, carrying the legacy of what came before into the wonder of what would come after.